Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Boom Broadcasting presents Three from Deep. I am your host, Jason Colenso, for this NBA podcast. Spoke to the president of Boom Broadcasting a little while ago. Told him, hey, we got the NBA season coming up. I'm pretty excited about it. Do we have a NBA podcast? I'd like to be a part of it, even if it's a little bit. Well, Prez said, hey, you know what? Here you go. So I now have my own podcast here on Boom Broadcasting. So I'm very appreciative to the president, Mr. Michael Davis. Thank you so much for entrusting me to talk about all things NBA. So we are going to talk about the players, the teams, a lot of games going on. We're also going to discuss some of the other things that go on with the NBA, like the culture, music, shoe drops, pack breaking. You never know what we're going to talk about here on my podcast, Three from Deep. Again, thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate you, the listeners, because without you, I would be just sitting here talking to myself. So thank you guys very much. So let's begin. First thing I want to jump into is this last week, opening week for the 24-25 NBA season. And let's say it just definitely did not disappoint. That first night, we had two exciting games. So let's dive into that here real quick. That first game, Knicks versus Celtics, as you can see. I'm a huge Knicks fan, so I was very excited about this game. Needless to say, I did not exit that game very excited. The Celtics hoisted their 18th championship, got their rings. You would think, well, maybe they're going to have a slow start. They're going to have some hangover, championship hangover. Well, that was farthest from the truth. Guys, I was taking notes in this game because I really wanted it to be an awesome highlight game. I was ready for the New York Knicks to come out and hit them in the mouth, and they fell flat. The Celtics came out and made a statement to the NBA that you are on notice and that we want to repeat as NBA champions. And we haven't had a repeat champion since the 2016 through 2018 Golden State Warriors. You know, they had that little baby dynasty there where they won 3 out of 4. So that was our last repeat champion. So for the Celtics to come out, guys, I stopped taking notes about 7 minutes to go in the third quarter when the Celtics had 113 points and 26 threes on the New York Knicks, who played absolutely atrocious perimeter defense. They just let the Celtics shoot the lights out on the New York Knicks, and it was horrible. But lucky enough, the Celtics finished with 29 threes. They did not break the record. They tied the record. They tied the record with the 2020 Milwaukee Bucks, which was an interesting little tidbit that I learned. You would have thought that, you know, the 3-point record would have been by the Golden State Warriors or the throwback Reggie Miller Indiana Pacers, but no, it was the 2020 Milwaukee Bucks with 29 threes. And that's no short for trying. Once the Celtics hit that 29-3, they proceeded to chuck up 13 more threes, kind of ruining their shooting percentage, but they tried to get that extra one, but at least they did not get the record on us. They tied it. The Knicks lost 109-132. The Knicks got waxed like a Brazilian at a pretty kitty. It was absolutely horrible. But we're not going to panic. That was only game 1. Jason Tatum come out shining. 37 points, 10 and 8. Showing a true possible MVP form. And ladies and gentlemen, my crack production staff, we got the MVP Watch trophy. Thank you to my son who colored this for me. But that is our production budget right there in a nutshell. But Jason Tatum possible MVP. So we got to keep an eye out for that. The rest of the year, we'll see who he does. Needless to say, let's move on to the second game of that night. Second game of that night was the Los Angeles Lakers and the T-Wolves. T-Wolves making that trade with my New York Knicks in the beginning of the year. Karl Anthony Towns coming to my New York Knicks. And then Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle going to the T-Wolves. And they came out looking a little flat. The Battle of the Tonys. Anthony Edwards, 27, 6, and 3. Anthony Davis, 36, 16, and 4. So, great game, great start from the Los Angeles Lakers. J.J. Redick, first-year head coach. I don't really think he's coached much of anything, so it's going to be interesting to see how this progresses. Usually the Lakers start off slow, and then there's doom and gloom. So for the Lakers to come out and win this game, they won 110-103 against the Wolves. So that was a great showing. LeBron James showing he really just doesn't age. I don't know what it is. His greatness is already solidified in the halls. But, you know, it was exciting to see him and Bronny on the court about 4 minutes ago in the second quarter. JJ threw him out there. Him and LeBron had their moment. It fell a little flat for me, and I'll discuss that at the end of this podcast. We'll go dig a little deeper into that. But it was a great little moment there, especially for LeBron. This was his dream come true to be able to play on the same court with his son. And the Lakers were obliged to make that happen. They kind of rushed it, I think, in this first game. But again, that's another story. But the Lakers, again, come out with a victory in that first night. T-Wolves fell a little flat, a little disappointed. But can Anthony Davis stay true to that form? He is a monster. Top 10 player in the NBA, but he's made of glass, a.k.a. Mr. Glass, Anthony Davis. Street clothes. But we'll see. He started off good. We'll see what we got from here. The next night, my sleeper team in the East is going to be the Orlando Magic. That night, the O-Town played the Heat. They beat the Heat 116-97. It was nice to see that the Heat renamed the court Pat Riley Court. Well-deserved. That Heat franchise would not be what it is without Pat Riley. Pat Riley is I don't even know how to describe it. He is a all-time when it comes to being a part of the NBA. You cannot mention NBA's history without Pat Riley being sprinkled in there over 4+ decades. Over 5 decades. He's been around for a very long time with the NBA and has his hands in so many different franchises and has made a huge mark. So well deserved on getting that court named after you. But back to the game. Paolo Banchero, 33-11. So don't sleep on O-Town in the East. They're my little sleeper team. They got a young team, but I think they can make some noise in the NBA. So I'm pretty excited to watch that and see what they do. Also that night, we had the Golden State Warriors drop 140 points on the Trailblazers. Now, I know the Golden State Warriors don't have Klay anymore. He's off in Big D doing his thing with Luka and Kyrie. So who is going to step in and take his place? And we're going to talk about him a little bit more here. But Buddy Hield. My buddy. Buddy Hield. 22 points. 5 for 7 from 3. Are they going to miss Klay now that he stepped up? And, of course, Draymond in Draymond fashion gets his technical foul and starts hooting and hollering already. We were hoping that with age and experience, Draymond would learn from his mistakes, but it doesn't seem that he wants to do that, and I don't understand. I'm going to take a little sip from my coffee here real quick, and it is coffee, ladies and gentlemen. We are a possible PG-13 Depends on how I feel on some nights, and it depends on what the Knicks do. But we are going to be good on this podcast here. But Golden State, Steph's not done. And if Buddy Hield can continue to do that, watch out now. And then also that night we had the Suns versus the Clippers. Suns won 116-113 versus that Clippers. And in their new building, I want to talk about that here real quick. Steve Ballmer spent $2 billion, that's B with a B, I hope you can hear me, $2 billion on this new stadium. And I think he spent $1 billion of that just on that TV wraparound. I know we like to talk about, hey, the bigger the TV, the better. But this thing is unbelievable. That stadium looks absolutely amazing. So $2 billion. It looks insane. I'm hoping I can get one day see that in person. But again, I think he spent most of that money on that TV there. But Durant, 25-7. Harden, 29, 12, and 8. But who else is going to step up for the Clippers? The Claw is not there, of course. He is always out indefinitely. Who knows when, if he'll play. Durant has Booker and Beal. Let's see if they can all play together and work together in cohesion. I don't know. They have a lot riding on this with that big three. They always seem to fall short, but we'll see what they can do this year. Again, that was a big win against the Clippers coming out the gate, but it's a long season, folks. It's a long season. Next night, Celtics 2-0. They beat up on the Wizards. Then you had the Mavericks playing the Spurs. Luka, Clay, showing he's still got it. 6 for 10 from 3, 22 points. I think he is going to thrive in that offense. He doesn't really have to move too much. He doesn't, as long as his legs do not fail him, Clay's going to get his. Luka. Here, let's go back to my crack graphic. Luka, MVP watch. He is in my top 5 of guys I would actually pay to go watch play. Luka is amazing. But him and Kyrie 15 points. Luka 28, 10, and 8, almost a triple-double. But the biggest thing I got out of that game, they were playing the Spurs, and they beat the Spurs. And Spurs young team. And, of course, they got Wembanyama. Wembanyama mania. And the biggest stat that I saw on there that really confused me was Wemby was 1 for 8 from 3. Now, Victor Wembanyama is 8 feet tall. What happened to the big men who used to play near the rim and assert their dominance down low, whether it's blocking shots, dunking the basketball? Wemby had 17 points on a 27.8 field goal percentage. That is terrible for someone with so much talent. What is he doing out there? I don't know. I don't know if this is the type of game the NBA plays nowadays, where everything is shot from 3 and just chucking them up. But Victor Wembanyama should be living around the basket, blocking shots and dunking the basketball because he literally doesn't have to jump. Backing guys down. Get some weight on you, brother. Eat a cheeseburger, something. Start getting some weight. Back guys down. I miss Patrick Ewing. I miss Shaq. The big men back in the day where you caught it down low and you just made your dominance. You push guys out of the way. You dunk that basketball. You block shots. Victor Wembanyama needs to be doing that, not chucking up 8 threes and playing outside. Don't like it. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they change that. Also in that night, we had the Thunder versus the Nuggets. Thunder, number 1 in the West last year. Very surprising team. Very good team. Still a little young, but now they got another year under their belt. Chet Holmgren, 25, 14, and 5. Looking a little buffer. And that's what I'm talking about. Wembanyama, you got to buff up a little bit, man. This is the NBA. You got to muscle guys out of the way. Chet got a little weight on him now. And then Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, possible MVP. Shea, 28, 7, and 8. I'm liking how he looks. Thunder win, 102-87. What's going on with the Nuggets? Joker, the dad bod god. Triple-double, but I think he can get a triple-double in his sleep. He is that good, but only 16 points. Nuggets only scoring 87 points. Where's the rest of that team? This was a championship team not too long ago. Coming out the gate a little slow. I don't know. We'll see. Friday night. Now I want to talk about this. The Warriors. 127 blowing out the Jazz to 86. Curry had 20 points. 4 for 13. Chucking up threes. But again, Buddy Hield. My buddy. Playing fantastic. 27 points, 7 for 9 at 3. So that's 2 games in a row. Mr. Buddy Hield has become a fantastic player. Not just a role player. He's looking like he's going to try to become a star on that team. No one's going to take Steph Curry's spot. The babyface assassin still can shoot it. If I had to pick one person to save my life with one shot, it is going to be Steph Curry. He is the greatest shooter of all time, period. We don't have to debate that. But Buddy Hield showing up. That team, from top to bottom, has some depth and can score some points. So blowing out the Jazz, that's pretty good. Then we get into Saturday's games. Clip the Nuggets again. Nuggets going down 0-2 now. Heat got their first win against the Hornets. Celtics beat those poor Pistons. I don't know. Detroit, that's such a beautiful basketball city. I'm taking a sip for you. I don't know what's going on up there. Cunningham is a great player, but man, the last handful of years have been very, very rough up there in Detroit, especially with the Lions playing well. The Tigers this year had a phenomenal season in baseball. Man, that city is starving for its basketball team to wake up, and I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer for them. They need to make some power moves. They need to do something there. But the Celtics ran them over. Thunder crushed the Bulls. Again, Thunder looking good. Grizz beat the O-Town. Orlando, what are you doing? You let the Grizzlies beat you. Now, Grizzlies, you're on check. Ja, again, in my top 5 of guys I would pay to watch. Can you step it up over all your issues you had last year? It was very disappointing because the talent you have is all world. Come on, Ja. Step it up, man. You can do it. You are. I'm not going to pull the graphic out, but you're getting close. If you can show up this year and show the NBA that you've matured and you're focusing on basketball, that Grizzlies team can do something and make some noise. Timberwolves beat the Raptors. Suns beat the Mavs, which was a big win for the Suns. Again, the big 3 there in the desert. Can they make some noise this year? Can they get over the hump and all the expectations? Mounds of expectations on the Suns, on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is and will be in the top echelon of NBA players. He can score with the best of them. But can he get that chip with himself? He needed Steph Curry to do it. So that remains to be seen. And to round out those Saturday games, LeBron James with a triple-double, 32, 14, 10. Again, the money he spends on his body every year, it's well worth it, LeBron. You are still playing a phenomenal. I don't know if it's JJ that's got you hyped up. I don't know if it's, your son being with you got you hyped up, but here you are in your 20th year in the NBA, and you're playing like that. But can you sustain it? Can you sustain it for an 82-game season? How many games will you play? Anthony Davis, 31 points, back-to-back 30 points. Again, Anthony Davis, can you stay healthy? That's the main problem in Philly. Philly down, hasn't won a game yet, 0-2. Trust the process. Philly, I think your window is closed. Joel Embiid, with all the talent in the world, just is not available. And I'm sorry, the best ability will always be availability. And Joel Embiid is never available. So I think that 76ers team, if they hang their hat on him, they're never going to go anywhere. Maxey, nice little player, but I don't know. 76ers are struggling. Again, they haven't won a game yet. 0-2 in Denver, haven't won a game. Even the Kings. Sacramento, where are you at? 0-2 so far this season. But out of week 1, Celtics 3-0. Cleveland. Nice little squad down there in Cleveland. Watch out. East is on notice with you too. 3-0. Lakers 3-0. OKC 2-0. New Orleans 2-0. Got a good squad down there too. Zion. Again, can you stay healthy? Can you stay fit? And show us why the hype was real. And then Golden State 2-0. So, bunch of teams coming out of that week on fire. Now, we did have some injuries. Again, that New Orleans Pelicans, DeJounte Murray breaking his hand. He's going to be out maybe 4 to 5 weeks. But the biggest one is the Indiana Pacers with Wiseman hurting his Achilles, being out for the year. That hurts Indiana immensely. James Wiseman was turning into be a very good player, getting out of Golden State and getting some minutes. But that hurt being out for the season. So was a heck of a week 1, guys. Week 2 coming up. But again, this is my show now. I have a little creative control. We had a great week 1. So we're going to do like a halftime thing. We're going to throw something in the mix just to split some things up here because I like talking all kinds of craziness. And one of the things I'm going to start bringing into here, because again, the NBA is just so much more than basketball. It is a lifestyle. It is a culture. And there's a lot of things that wrap up into it. And one of the biggest things is I am a huge hip-hop head. Always will be. And I love good hip-hop music. I was an 80s, 90s guy. So that's where my heart still lies. So I'm going to give you guys my top 5 hip-hop MCs, dead or alive, because we got to throw that out there. And I'm going to give you mine. Just because. And again, these are mine. This is my personal opinion. So for me, my top 5 hip-hop MCs. Number 5, Guru from Gang Starr. Rest in peace, Keith Elam. We lost him in 2010. Gone too soon. One of the greatest hip-hop groups of all time, Gang Starr. But Guru, one of my favorite MCs of all time. Wild with my monotone style. If you haven't heard the album Hard to Earn, one of my top 5 greatest hip-hop albums of all time. But we'll get into that maybe at another time in another show. I'll talk about my top 5 there. But Rizzy, Ballhead Slick, we miss you, man. Top 5. Number 4, Raekwon, the chef. Throw up that W for the woo. The purple tape, of course. All world right there. Incarcerated Scarface is one of my favorite cuts of all time. Raekwon, flow, sound, lyrics. One of the best, one of my favorites. Number 3, Redman, Muddy Waters. One of my greatest hip-hop albums, again, of all time. I think he is underrated. Funk Dr. Spot. Still kicking it. After all these years. 30 plus years in the game. Still on point. I'll put him up against anybody. Number 2, Rakim. Rakim Allah. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. Rakim changed the hip-hop game. Changed how guys flowed. Wordsmith. Unbelievable lyrics. I came in the door. I said it before. Number 2, Rakim. My number 1 hip-hop MC of all time, Nas. And I'm going to say one word, and that's my argument, Illmatic. The greatest hip-hop album of all time. All the way back from the barbecue, still spitting after all these years. He is my number 1 hip-hop MC of all time. And there you go, folks. I just had to throw that in there because, again, this is Jason, a.k.a. New York, and I just love throwing in my own little 2 cents here about certain things. And we may do some other things down the road here again with this podcast because I can do that, and it's good stuff. I'm going to sip on my coffee again. All right, now that halftime is over with, let's get into the second half. Let's look at what we got coming up here. Again, we got some great games coming up this week. Monday night. Nuggets starting off slow. I got some questions. They're going against the Raptors. This is the get-right game for the Nuggets. I think Joker needs this one. I think they need to get off the schneid if they want to be considered a championship-level team again. They need to wake up a little bit. Again, my New York Knicks, Monday night, playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Knicks ended up winning against the Pacers, so they're 1-1, but they're going against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, a great East opponent. If the New York Knicks want to be taken seriously, these are the games that they have to win. They have to produce. We'll see. That's going to be a big game on Monday night. You also have the Celtics going against the Bucks. Giannis a little banged up. Bucks a little banged up. Dame time. Let's see how he has this year. But Celtics, again, they put the league on notice with their hot start. They want to repeat, and you can see it in their faces. They don't even have Porzingis yet, and they're playing all world. So, we'll see. Celtics play. Looking at my notes here, I want to see late game. LeBron and the Lakers taking on the Suns. Again, Anthony Davis, hot start. Suns 1-1. Lakers looking to make some noise in the West. I know they weren't slotted to be a top team, but they're playing like it. Can they continue that? Again, can the Suns' big three exceed expectations like they're supposed to? We'll see. That's going to be a big game Monday night. And we'll talk about that next week. We'll see how they play. Tuesday night, TNT game. You got the Mavs and the Timberwolves. Again, Clay and them boys. Luka. Kyrie going against Ant. You talk about a fantastic game. I wish I can go to this game and just sit there and watch the talent on those teams. So that's going to be an awesome, awesome game. We'll see how that goes. Wednesday, Celtics again. This is going to be everybody's Super Bowl. They play the Pacers. Can the Pacers hang with the Celtics? But everybody's going to be gunning for the Celtics right now. And then also on that Wednesday, LeBron in Cleveland. We'll see how that goes. The Lakers again playing well. Cleveland playing well. It'll be interesting to go up against the old squad. That's going to be a big, big game to check out. And then you're going to have the later game. The Spurs versus the Thunder. You got Wemby versus Chet. Again, Wembanyama. Stop chucking up threes. Use your size. Get down low. Block shots. Make easy baskets. Get your shooting percentage up. You should not be out there chucking up threes as tall as you are. That is just ridiculous. You should be down there grabbing rebounds and getting that ball in the hoop and stopping the ball from going in the hoop. Come on, Wemby. Step it up. Let's go. Thursday game. Suns Clippers seems to be the big game. You got Bucks Grizzlies, Mavericks Rockets. You're going to have some decent games. So, boo. Halloween. Who's going to show up for those teams? That Friday, you're going to have the Magic against the Cavaliers. Again, you got an East matchup. That's going to be a big, big matchup. Again, watch out for O-Town, my sleeper team. I want to see what they do this year. Paulo, what you got? And there you go. Celtics against the Hornets on Friday. LaMelo. Again, all-world talent. Can you stay healthy the whole year? You're very, very flashy for somebody that hasn't done squat in this league. You have all the talent in the world. Get out there and prove it and do something. Let's get the Hornets off the deck. Show us something. Playing against the Celtics. Again, Big West matchup on Friday. Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Again, what's going on with the Nuggets? Joker, you're on notice. Let's go. Saturday games. Timberwolves and the Spurs. Again, Wemby. What you got? And then late night game is the Thunder versus the Clippers. So we got an exciting week of basketball ahead of us. Week 2 on this young season. Who is going to start stepping up and be our front runner for MVP? I don't know. We got a lot to break down here. I'm pretty excited about it. And again, I want to give you guys my 24-second breakdown on LeBron and his son Bronny. You know, there's been other players in father-sons in different leagues. The NHL, you had Gordie Howe, 1979-80, played with Mark and Marty, his sons. Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr., 1991. And, you know, and back in the day, Yogi Berra played with his son Dale in the 1994 season for the Yankees. That was my 24-second shot clock. Again, LeBron James and Bronny. I think the Lakers really messed this one up. They rushed it. They should have put Bronny in the G League at first. Let him develop. And then later on in the season, maybe around Christmas time, when you have a prime game where everybody's watching, where he's developed, and the hype has built up, then you bring him in and you celebrate it. But throwing Bronny out there with LeBron James in a second quarter of the first game of the season, really late at night, where most of the East Coast has already gone to bed, that was a bigger moment for LeBron than anybody else. So the Lakers, I think, really, really messed that one up. They could have done this a lot better because it looks like Bronny's going to be bouncing back and forth between the G League anyways. So I think you just did this just to get it over with, and that's disappointing. So Lakers, you messed this one up. You're playing well. LeBron, you're playing well. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. Again, I am Jason, a.k.a. New York. Thank you for joining me from Three From Deep on this podcast where we discuss all things NBA. I'm pretty excited about this season. Please drop your comments, questions, like, and subscribe. Again, Boom Broadcasting. They're hot right now. We got a lot of content out there. You can also catch me on Sideline Savants with my man, the Commish, where we talk about fantasy football. Michael Davis Out of Pocket. Aaron, the Gridiron Address. Podcast Schmitty. The list goes on. Clissa Duca. Lots of great things to do here with Boom Broadcasting. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Again, one more sip of my coffee here. I appreciate you being here. Again, like and subscribe. This was my first time. Let me know how I did. I can take it. Whatever you got, throw it at me. But ask me some questions. What do you want to see? What do you want to know about this podcast, about this NBA season? What are you excited to see? What are you not excited to see? I thank you guys very much. Peace. We will see you next Monday. We out.